Well, it's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, you guys know I've been excited for this one for a long time. So much so to the point that if I wasn't the first channel to make a video about this fight, I was one of the first channels to make a video about this fight all the way back in January. And that's the fight that's now, as now the video is coming out, is fight week for Vergil Ortiz. You know, the undefeated, all knockouts. You know, intelligent pressure fighter, but got boxing skills too. The intelligent pressure boxer, puncher. Vergil Ortiz taking on the pure boxer, the upset-minded, and the very overlooked and underrated Michael McKinson. I wanted to talk about this fight because the sentiment generally from the boxing fans seems to be that Michael McKinson is not on the level of Vergil. He doesn't deserve the fight. And with 2 knockouts in 21 professional fights, he's not going to really pose much for Paul for Vergil. Now, I'm going to be unbiased because I'll be honest with you. I like Michael McKinson. I like his story. I like where he's come from. He's always against all odds. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that you know, I want him to win because I like his story. And the Chris Congo fight was a fight that made me a fan because Chris Congo was being talked up a lot around this time last year from the British boxing community on this channel. When I watched Chris Congo really fight, it was the Michael McKinson fight, and Michael McKinson against all odds won in there and absolutely derailed that higher train before it even got going. So he won me over. I like him, but I can't let my feelings get involved. So my unbiased thoughts about this fight. Let's start with Michael McKinson. So Michael McKinson, I think he's a better fighter than people give him credit for, because if you look at his career, 2 knockouts, 21 fights, yes, but you know, many a times he scored knockdowns, sometimes in a very ugly fashion to where you could say he's pushing down his opponent. But listen, a knockdown's a knockdown. The result's the result. Boxing is a results-based business, so if you're delivering the results, you can't really fault him for how he's getting it done. He's very awkward southpaw, awkward timing, boxes really well out that southpaw stance, has good, you know, control of range and distance. You know, at many times in his career, he's been the B side. He didn't have the promoters behind him. He didn't have any promotional backing in his first 10 fights in his career. The man had to work 9 to 5 jobs early in his career. So I identify with his come up. And I would like to see him go in there and get beat Vergil. But I just think with him, right, my logical, unbiased, no feelings breakdown of this fight is that this fight will be a case of where I think Vergil has some problems early with the timing of McKinson, with the movement, with the distance control. Michael McKinson that's out of that southpaw stance because Vergil don't got a whole lot of experience with southpaws. And plus, Vergil likes to throw that right hand, and sometimes he lunges in with the right hand. So there's going to be some times early in the fight where I think Vergil lunges in and even gets caught with some counters, but McKinson don't really punch that hard. But he punches hard enough to win his fights. So I think I can see Michael McKinson winning some rounds early. As Vergil closes the gap and as Vergil shoots, if he lunges, look for Michael McKinson to take that little side step to the he normally goes to the I think to the right or the left. I can't remember if it was right or the left, but when the opponent closes a gap on him, Michael McKinson likes to take a side step to, I think it's the right, or might be the left. One right or left. And he shoots a left hand to the body, and it's normally like right here in this area. So I believe it's the left. He goes to the left. So if an opponent comes in the high guard like this, right, and gets within Michael McKinson likes to turn them and then throw the straight left hand right to the body. He dropped Marty Harkin with that punch in one of his fights, and I think that's a punch that he'll be looking to throw in this fight a lot. When Vergil comes in the high guard, should he lunge, McKinson will use the force of Vergil coming forward, and he will look to kind of like sidestep him and throw that left hand to the body. It's a punch that he likes to throw. And he stopped guys on body shots before. He stopped a guy in 2017, the dude, I can't remember his name, but he stopped this one guy in 17 on body shots. So Michael McKinson, if you come forward and you allow him to take that sidestep around you, or even if you come in that high guard and you leave something exposed, he's not afraid to dig down there. Contrary to what you may think about his 2 knockouts, he is a more dangerous fighter than people think. Where I ultimately think Michael McKinson comes unstuck is the fact that And I want to give a shout out to Boxing Gems because I did watch this video on the fight. Go check him out. Subscribe to him. Boxing Gems, one of the best channels on YouTube, hands down, point blank, period. Just being honest with you. If you're a boxing fan and you're not subscribed to Boxing Gems, you're not a boxing fan. But Boxing Gems made a great point that Michael McKinson, while he has a good distance control, there's a lot of flaws he does have. Like he does like to lunge, not lunge, but he does like to he does have a bad form at times. He slaps with his punches. He don't really keep it like nice and tight. It's sometimes he can kind of cuff the shots or slap with the punches, as opposed to keeping it tight and making things really easier on himself. So just that, I think that along with Vergil Ortiz's very active feet, the active guard, the very educated jab, I think these things play a role as the fight goes on. I think Vergil gets him out of there in the 8th or 9th round, but I could see a scenario, and remember I told you first, I could see a scenario where Michael McKinson proves himself to be extremely awkward, shows himself to be extremely difficult to time, and I could see 5 rounds going by where Vergil is like down like 3-2 or even like a 4-1, or maybe he's up 3-2, but there's been some swing rounds, something like that the first 5 rounds or so. And if that happens, my question to Vergil then becomes, how does Vergil respond? Because I remember when Kavaluskas hit him in their fight, Vergil got really like tense and he started loading up on shots, right? When Kavaluskas hurt him. Now, to his credit, he did actually wind up hurting Kavaluskas himself later on in the round, and he got the stoppage in the 8th round. But this is a slightly different challenge to the Kavaluskas fight, because I don't think Michael McKinson's gonna be there as much to hit. So Vergil's gonna have to use a bit more of that boxing IQ, the level changes, things like that, to kind of break the movement and the awkwardness and the timing of Michael McKinson. So my unbiased thoughts is I think Vergil gets Michael McKinson out of there like in the 8th, 9th round. But I think it's the kind of fight where Michael McKinson's stock rises in this fight, because he's gonna have some moments where he looks good against Vergil. I think if Michael McKinson really put together this fight, I could see a scenario where Vergil could win the fight, yes, but people say maybe Vergil got exposed. And if Vergil has an off night, as we've seen many times in boxing, you can't always judge fighters on past performances, because a fighter can rise to the occasion on the night. Look at Jack Catterall recently against Josh Taylor. I watched a lot of his fights the week going into that fight. There was nothing on tape that showed me really that he had much for Josh Taylor. But when the night came, he boxed the fight of his life. If you go look at the tape on McKinson, I actually am a bit more encouraged on what I see on tape from him than I am for Catterall. But, most people don't really think that there's any chance he can win based on prior performances. But as we've seen with Catterall and George Kambosos and many fighters in the past when they scored upsets, the old adage of you're only as good as your last fight or last performances, it's bullshit, because fighters can rise to the occasion on the night. So do I want Michael McKinson to win? Yes. Do I think he will win? Ultimately, no. I just still think there's still some things he's not doing all the way right technically, and they're going to come back to hurt him in the later parts of this fight. But from them first 5 to 6, 7 rounds, man, Michael McKinson is going to give Vergil Ortiz some problems, because Vergil don't got a whole lot of southpaw experience, and Michael McKinson's very difficult to time. He's got good distance control, and Vergil likes to lunge. And I think the 2 punches that are going to be there for McKinson, he's got to make sure he commit to these shots and throw them and get out of there. But like the 2 punches, because Vergil's going to come in that high guard with a nice active high guard, he's going to come with the jab, right? The 2 punches that'll be there for Michael McKinson are going to be that little left hand he throws to the body, to the ribs. When Vergil comes, he's gonna have a chance to pivot around him and throw the left hand to the ribs, and then also the straight left hand to right to the stomach. Those are a pot shot, so to speak. Those are the 2 shots that'll be there for him. For Vergil, I think the best opportunity for him to land a shot will probably be around the 4th to the 6th round, when he had some time to download some information and get the timing of Michael McKinson down. I think Vergil's gonna have to do a lot of feints, active high guard, things like that. And then for me, the punch I could see Vergil landing and really hurting Michael McKinson is the right hand. The straight right hand over the top, off of a feint. Because Michael McKinson likes to box with his hands down. He's kind of a reflex fighter. So with great feints and an educated jab, a right hand or a left hook could come behind that, and he could really hurt McKinson. But also, don't overlook McKinson, because McKinson, I think in his last like 4 fights or something like that, he has like 6 knockdowns. I think in his career he's got over like 8 or 9, 10 knockdowns. He's got a lot of knockdowns in his career. He just doesn't have a lot of knockouts. So I think Michael McKinson's a good fighter. I still think even if he loses this fight, he can still develop into a pretty good fighter down the line. He just needs to tune some things up. But I don't write him off. I think he has what it takes as far as the mental side and as far as some of the things he does in his skill set to potentially pull off an upset and shock the world. But I'm not gonna let my emotions get involved. I think Vergil Ortiz just a little bit too polished, seasoned, and strong for him at this point in his career. But should be a good fight while it lasts. So that's my unbiased take on Vergil Ortiz versus Michael McKinson. I will be there in Los Angeles at the Galen Center. So if you're gonna be in LA at the fight, let me know in the comments. Hit me up on the Instagram. I love meeting people that watch the channel. I met a lot of people in San Diego that came up to me and said, "Hey, are you BT from True School Sports? Are you the Untouchable?" I said, "Yes, I am." And people were stopping me in the concession stands, taking pictures. It was crazy. I got a lot of love in San Diego. So I'm going back to Cali again. If you see me, feel free to say hello. I'm a down-to-earth guy. I love talking to the boxing fans. But yeah, my prediction for the fight is I got Vergil Ortiz winning by a 9th-round stoppage. But before that happens, I think Michael McKinson has a lot of success in shows and even gives maybe a little bit of a blueprint to the guys like Ennis and Spence and Crawford to beat Vergil Ortiz. So I'm going to leave it at that. You guys leave your comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on True School Sports, the home of boxing. If you made it this far, do me a favor and do yourself a damn favor. Hit that subscribe button and surely you will not be disappointed. True School Sports bringing you the latest and greatest, the untouchable, boxing content, interviews, news videos, breakdowns, live fight reaction extravaganza. We've got a great community of people here, boxing fans all over the world, from America to the UK to Australia, and on and on and on. So join the empire today. Hit that subscribe button. Take care and God bless.